let's just start off with this. Life is hard and full of challenges. And so 2018, here I am living in my mother-in-law's basement with my wife and my 2 children. Like during this time, I'm feeling less than a man because I can't provide for my family. Like I was raised, like the way I was raised, I was told as a man, you gotta protect your family. As a man, you are the provider. Like you make sure everything is good. And here I am in my mother-in-law's basement. Bank account just negative. My cell phone's turned off. My credit score was like 400 something. I don't even remember. I was in a bad place. But my life then looks nothing like my life now. We all have different challenges, but the thing that separates people is how you respond to the challenge. How are you going to respond to the challenges that you face? And so going back to when I was in my mother-in-law's basement, like I had to respond to that challenge. And so one of the first things that I had to do, I had to believe. I had to believe that where I was at that point was not where I was going to stay. I had to believe that there was greater for my life. That's what David did. David believed. He believed that he could take on this challenge. Where everybody else was afraid, David said, no, I know I can do this. And that's what you have to have. You have to have a belief that no matter your circumstance, no matter your situation, you have to believe that it can get better. No matter the challenges you face, you have to believe that you can overcome it. What's your belief? Because if you don't believe that you can conquer the challenge, you lost already. I heard it once said, he who thinks he can't and he who thinks he can, both are usually right. It's your thinking. And so that's the first step, is that belief. You have to believe that you can overcome the challenge. I know you might be going through some tough times. You have to believe that that marriage can get better. You have to believe that those issues at work can get better. You have to believe that you can find the right employees. You have to believe that you can find the right people. I know it's hard. It's tough. But life has always been tough. But you have to believe. And then number 2, you have to make a decision. After you just make up in your mind that there is better for you, then you have to decide that you're going to go get it. Because it's one thing to believe, but if you believe and just sit on your hands, nothing's going to happen. I'm sorry, but just believing and not doing any action, there's no magic in that. So I'm sorry if you thought that just believing was enough, because it's not. Because after you believe, then you have to decide. And that decision will lead you to some actions. And so David believed he could win, but then he didn't just stop there. He decided. And so that decision caused him to go get the rocks. He took steps. And so my decision at that point in my life, I decided, no, I'm not staying here. And so I started to take steps to get out of that situation. And when you begin to take steps, the change doesn't happen automatically. Sometimes it can happen in a day. Sometimes it might take a week. Sometimes it might take a year. But when you decide, that's the start. And as time goes on, then you will begin to see how that decision will play out. Number 2, I will be productive.
I will be productive.
When everybody else is just taking their time, when everybody else is just saying, we'll get to it whenever, remember, you said you're going to be productive. Say it again, I will be productive.
I will be productive.
And the last one, I will take ownership.
I will take ownership.
I will take ownership.
I will take ownership.
You got to remember that. It's time to stop blaming other people. You can control your life. It's time to take ownership. It's time to stop putting it in the next person's hand. Stop allowing people to have power over you. It ends today. Like, it ends today. Like, when you leave this conference, you ought to be a new person. You ought to be to the point where it's all on me. It's all on you. Take back your power. Take back your power. One more time. I will take ownership.
I will take ownership.